Monika, can you please share us with your story of injustice? Gary and Monika have been happily married for years now. They've helped each other through the dark and challenging aspects of each other's lives. Today, Monika remains in conflict with the handling of her own son by his biological father and the Justice Department meant to protect him. By speaking today, she hopes to expose the negligences of this system and evoke change for her situation and others like it.
Well, my injustice is quite a recent one. It was after my son from another relationship, not Gary, told both Gary and myself in 2016 that his father had been a bit, hit him about the head. So me being the strong person I am now, if it had been 5 years ago, I wouldn't have been as strong. I did the right process. I reported it to Child Protection. I went to the Magistrates Court. I took out an intervention order. I filed the family court process of notice of risk. We did all the medical forms, etc. He did all the scans of his brains, etc. There was a slight thickness, but it wasn't conclusive because I'd stopped seeing his father for a little while. But from 2016, come to beginning of this year in February, final hearing. The family consultant that was involved to do the family report came down from Queensland because there was nobody available towards the end of last year in Melbourne to do it, and I didn't feel that she was taking the correct notes, just a little bit here and there. What we were telling them was got turned around that I was lying, and she came out to say that I was self-centred, I was doctor shopping for my son's condition because he has been diagnosed as ADHD with a learning delay. And when it got through to the court system, family court system, the judge at the time, I tabled all the reports that I had on my son's condition, and with all they had gone through, and yes, I did apply for legal aid, but because in previous cases I did get legal aid, there was only a certain dollar amount that got spent, so I hit that dollar amount. So everything else I had to do on my own. So I did the best I could with what I had. And the judge told me I had to have the writers of those reports there, and that for somebody on a pension, you can't afford to. Where are you going to get the money? How are you going to get the money to pay for those? And that's big bucks. And I think in this stage, you should be allowed to table those reports, and those reports should be able to be taken as is. And to be told that I was self-centred and doctor shopping because he did so well last year at school, he's now living with his father more. And his education isn't, his father thinks his education is doing great, but there are quite a few issues going on at the moment that I'm trying to deal with. But also too, I've got a mother that's MS, and I've got to look after her as well. And to be told by the family consultant, oh no, you've got to focus solely on your child, forget about your mother. What you do when you're family orientated.
Monika, your story is a big story, and it feels like the system has failed you on many levels. How could you say justice could or should have been served for you?
I think justice, okay, if legal aid is not available and the person in my shoes cannot afford for those writers of those reports to be able to be there, I believe that the judge should have been able to allow those reports as written to be accepted as evidence as they are. Something has to change in the family court system, and there needs to be a huge overhaul on the system to make it easier for people like me, especially when you've got all the evidence and the reports there, but you just can't afford to pay for people, and even just for the report writer to be available at a phone call, it still costs, and that's money that I don't have.
Monika, were you aware of how important this report writer's role would be in your legal process?
I was, but I just had no one I could borrow money from. Banks wouldn't lend me money because being on Centrelink benefits, it just makes it, it's just that tough ladder. If I was able to find work, yes, I would be working. But at my age, and I've been out of work for so long, it just makes it so hard. And I have been applying for work, looking for work, and it is hard out there. No, sorry, you've got too much experience. We don't want you. You know, it just makes it hard. They use the age card, but they don't use it to that extent. So I'm hit on all sides, so what do you do? And it does make it tough, but the court system needs to be able to understand that and allow people like me to provide the evidence how best I can. And when I've got it all there, when you've got it from the start of his school to the last appointment he's had with his specialist, I think that should be allowed.
Monika, what could you share with our viewers today about if they are experiencing anything similar? What could you share with them to move through the system with?
There are women's groups and help groups out there. I know it's not just women, there are men out there that go through the same system. And I reckon if we all got together and start talking to our governments, because I know there is talk of merging the Federal Circuit Court with family court areas and the family court together. And it's not just the judges, etc., to get together. We all need to get together and talk and work out what is best practice. Not everybody has the dollars to fight this. Not everybody can afford. And legal aid can only go a certain level to a certain expanse. And we need to be able to work this out together. And it's not just on what the government says.
It's part of our main inspiration at Injustice, that we can provide a platform for everyone on both sides to come together and look at solutions that are practical and accessible for everyone. So thank you, Monika and Gary, for bringing your stories forward with us today about your family.
Thank you.
Thank you.